Welcome back to another Daily Dose of Greatness Quest. Today I wanted to give you some value for free, but typically something that I only give for a fee. And, if you're following me here on my podcast, I just want to honor you. I want to give you something that I think is of massive value. And today is an inside look and into a consulting session with me and some of the core questions that I ask to my high-paying clients. And I just did this session with a few people today. It was phenomenal, and I want to give you these skills. So this is going to help you craft a branding message, a message for your book. It's going to help you attract and convert ideal clients. I'm going to title this episode later because I can't even think of what to title it right now. I just want to give you some massive value today. So take out your pen, get ready to take some notes, and let's get going.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of greatness quest with your host, Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool.
Okay, so imagine that you just invested a big sum of money with me because you are absolutely confident that you're going to get some massive value out of it. In fact, you shouldn't invest money with anyone unless you are absolutely sure that you're going to get something out of it or get some kind of money back guarantee. That's what I offer. So when I meet with my clients, I'll give them a chance to get their money back if they think I blow smoke up their ass. If they don't get the value that they wanted to receive, then I give them their money back. I think that that's only fair. And I'm sure you do this whether you bought something at Walmart or from Amazon and you didn't like it, so you returned it. So that happens. And don't be a jackass and just try to screw people. I mean, if you do that, then you're gonna reap what you sow. But in the context, I want you to just go ahead and pretend that you pulled out your credit card and that you gave me a decent sum of money. Because here's what I find. We humans tend to get what we pay for. If we don't pay, we value things based on what we pay for them. So if we don't pay, we typically won't pay attention. And right now, if you get my advice to you on a free podcast, my biggest fear is that you'll take it for what you paid for it. Not what it's worth, but what you paid for it, which is nothing because you get it for free. In the future, I'll probably not even share a daily podcast like this and give all the value that I try to give because I want to give it to people who actually appreciate it and love it. But you are here and you are listening and you're giving me your most precious gift, which is your time. So in return, I want to give you my most precious gift, which is one of the strategies I use with my clients when I'm helping them bridge the gap of like branding themselves, marketing themselves, creating a message, writing a book. And this is a context from a blueprint session that I do with my clients who want to write a new book. And this is one of the things I go over with them. And so I told you, I advise that you pull out a piece of paper and a pen or your journal, and I want you to take some notes. So the first thing I want you to do is draw a big circle on the page, just about as big as the page will fit. And what you're going to draw inside of that are 3 other circles, and they're concentric circles. They get smaller and smaller, so it's a target, basically drawing a target. And I'm going to give you 4 questions to go ahead and write down inside of each of those rings. So on the outside ring, I want you to write down the word who with a question mark. On the next ring inside, you want to write down the word what. And the next ring is why. And then on the very inside, the bullseye in the center of the circle is just what. So it's who, what, why, and actually what's next. So real briefly, let's go ahead and go into this. So if you are writing a book and you want to be writing a book for a particular audience, the first question that you need to answer is who is this book for? And by the way, this is the criteria that I use when I'm trying to help somebody craft a message that connects and helps change people's lives. I use this in branding. I use this in marketing. If you do this on social media and you're looking to use paid advertising, one of the important things you're going to put a message in front of, you want to know who are you targeting? Are you targeting little kids? Are you talking to high school kids? Are you talking to kids that are drug addicts? Are you talking to kids who have some kind of weird addiction? What is it? Are they suicidal? Is it moms? Is it dads? Is it old men, old women? You need to choose, because those different audiences have different needs. They have different desires. And all too often when I find my clients, and I've done the same thing, is I try to tell my story, and I try to write a book or a message or a marketing message or whatever, and I get confused sometimes about who I'm talking to. But it's one of the most important questions you can ask and answer. And I can't tell you how many times, in fact, every time that I help a client with these questions, they get value, massive value, and it takes time. This is something that you can answer right away. You can be like, oh my God, well, I already know. And maybe you have total clarity, and maybe you don't. In fact, I would challenge you that you don't. That there is another level of clarity that you actually should get. And that is by getting crystal clear about the who. And here's what you need to do next, your action plan on this, is that if you're going to write a book, you should know who is it for. And hold on, I'm going to give you an action plan in just a second about what to go do next. But here's the thing. You need to decide who you most want to serve. And you've got a few choices on that. Oftentimes, the best people that, for some reason, my clients will often find that the people that they want to help are people that are just like them, that have already, but a few years ago. People who, because you know how to help yourself. You know you're already an expert in something. You've already figured this out. You figured out how to come back from bankruptcy, or how to build your life back after you got out of prison, or how to deal with a big loss, or how to help people with finances or health or weight loss or whatever it is. You're already phenomenal at that. And who do you most want to help and serve? Now, sometimes all you got to do, again, is look in the mirror and then look back in the past just a little bit, and it's someone that looks just like you, that had the same goals and desires. And this is also someone you probably like quite a lot. The you in the past, that you just wish that you would have had someone like you go back in time and give you all of the insights and greatness that you have. And oftentimes I find that this is the avatar. Our ideal client will sometimes be the me of the past, the you of the past. And it might be somebody entirely different. You might be targeting doctors or lawyers or chiropractors or whatever it is. And it doesn't really matter, but you do need to be clear. And the clearer you are with this, the more value you can deliver your client. So when you do this, I'll give you an example. My wife thought that she wanted to serve female entrepreneurs. And so when she put her marketing out and she connected with female entrepreneurs, she started paying for ads, and guess what? She found clients. And she found female entrepreneurs she could help. And she made $3,500 one month that she put this message out. It was pretty cool. She was pretty happy about that. She made a profit. $3,500 is not bad. But she hired a marketing team, and one of the first things they did is ask her this question of who, and they drilled it down a little deeper. And they found out that her best client, the one that she's actually best at helping, that she could help create the most rewards, and this is at the time, she's evolved since then, but it's financial advisors. And so instead of, and not just any financial advisor, but a female financial advisor. And so when they dove in to this who a little deeper, they did new marketing, and the marketing landed with this audience even better than it did with only female entrepreneurs, because she was talking right to them. And her message made a bigger impact with these women. And my wife made that next month that she did a similar marketing campaign out just to a different audience, or a more niched audience. My wife made over $35,000. It was a 10x experience of her result because she got more clear about her who. So my challenge for you is I'm going to give you these things today, and I want you to drill them down. You need to ask and answer the question and go deep. And if you use the marketing strategy that is this phenomenal marketing strategy of, I learned this time and time again. Just most recently, I learned it again in Russell Brunson's book called Expert Secrets. If you haven't gotten this book, you should get it and just commit it to memory. I'm going through it. I'm reading it, I think, the third time right now, second or third time. I'm going through the whole thing, start to finish, until I apply everything in this freaking book. It's an amazing book. So I'm going to get it. Okay. So he talks about an ask campaign, and an ask campaign is basically the strategy that he learned from someone else. I think it was Frank Kern. Probably shared it with him the first time. I can't remember. I need to read the book few more times before I remember everything in the book for verbatim. But an ask campaign has 3 things. An ask campaign is how you figure out what already influences your client. Okay, that's what an ask campaign actually is. It helps you craft a message for your market. And what you do with an ask campaign is, number 1, you want to find an audience that is hot. People that are hot and passionate about your subject matter, whatever it is that you're into. So find a hot audience. And then the second thing is you ask them what they want. And then the third thing, catch this is really high level shit, you give it to them. You find a hot target audience, you ask them what they want, and then you give it to them. I've learned this from mentor after mentor after mentor. I just recently met Jeff Walker for the first time face to face. And he's a very successful online marketer for years. Tony Robbins interviewed him for Money Master the Game, and there's a lot of value this guy brings. He was one of the nicest guys you could ever meet, because absolutely was a sweetheart. And so I find that some of the most successful people you meet are the sweetest, nicest people ever. I met Brendan Burchard recently, and he was just a frickin' sweetheart. When I met Richard Branson, a billionaire, he was a frickin' sweetheart. I've met some amazing people, and I don't hang out with them all the time. I'm not trying to name drop. I've met these people in passing here and there, and I've just been surprised how amazing they are. Hold on. I'm getting off on a tangent, but my point here is that you want to make sure you are connecting with who you want to most help. And try to dial that in, and the deeper you get with that, the more value you can bring that core person. And you can talk right to them, okay? And a lot of my mentors and some of the people I just mentioned to you are giving you the same advice. So I'm sharing with you phenomenal advice that you can take for free and just apply and say, that's nice. Or you can actually just dive in and go deep. And as you start to talk to and interview and talk to these people that are your core clients, and find out, let's go to the second rung of this thing. What do you want to talk to them about? What do you offer? What do you help people with? What's the dealio? What is it? If you're going to offer pizza, are you going to brand yourself as Joe Bob super duper amazing pizza? Or if you're driving down the road, people want to, you're hungry, what signs are you looking for? You're looking for pizza, tacos, smoothies, ice cream. You're looking for these basic things. And all too often, I find that when people are writing their book, what is your book going to be about? What is the message of your email? What is the message of your social media post? Whatever it is. Oftentimes, we come up with all these creative frickin' willy-nilly names. We think, but they're just confusing as shit. My sister has a bed and breakfast in Alaska, and my mom has a bed and breakfast in Alaska. They both own homes, or they bought extra rental properties and whatnot, and they have a bed and breakfast, and they use Airbnb as one of their tools to try to find people that want to come stay in their place. And my mom named her bed and breakfast Goldilocks Bed and Breakfast, and my sister named hers Cranky Crow Bed and Breakfast, and she's got a couple of other names for some of her other locations. And we were talking about it, and a few years ago I was helping my mom name what she does. And she called it Goldilocks Bed and Breakfast, and we were talking about that as her domain name. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't even know how to spell Goldilocks. I might get it right, but I'm not really sure. It's a long name. And I don't know if you've ever owned a domain name or had an email address that was really long and awkward and hard to tell somebody, and they kept getting it wrong, and you have to sound it out and spell it out and say no C like cat, not K like king, and it's really awkward. So the simpler names often the better, and ain't nobody anywhere searching for Goldilocks in context to bed and breakfast. Now, maybe that would be the best bed and breakfast in the world, but it wasn't helping her any. So what we did is we decided to get better at describing what she did. And so my mom lives on an island called Kodiak in Alaska, and some people go to Kodiak, Alaska. And if you go there, you might do a search for, let me think about it. You might want to stay at a hotel, but there are these hotel experiences, but you can have a much nicer experience sometimes by going to a bed and breakfast. You get to stay in someone's amazing home. They maybe have a more comfortable bed. You have a little bit of a unique experience. Sometimes it's better priced and even more convenient. and easy and fun, and you have this amazing experience. And so you might just go to, let me think about it. You're staying on an island in Kodiak, Alaska. So you might search for, let me guess, Kodiak BnB. And my mom now owns a domain name, Kodiak BnB. And lo and behold, she shows up number 1 on Google. Now, she's done almost nothing. I gave her a lot of advice, and I sent her to some different marketing people to try to help her with her website. There's only so much her son can do with her. But my sister is jealous as hell because my mom's bed and breakfast that she doesn't do anything for hardly in marketing. She does maybe 1 or 2 small, teeny tiny things. My mom gets all of her business. She probably makes 30, 40, 50 grand a year. I don't know exactly what she makes on this bed and breakfast just because she properly named it. What is it about? The Cranky Crow bed and breakfast that my sister owns, she just sent me a brochure of and said, hey, what do you think about this crazy, amazing brochure I'm making? I want people to know what I do, and do they want to buy my thing? And she started off right up at the top, Cranky Crow bed and breakfast. And I said to her, maybe that's amazing, and maybe I'm just wrong, but you know what? It didn't make any sense to me. I don't even know what a Cranky Crow is. And certainly it doesn't make, I don't mind it being called Cranky Crow, but why not Alaska's best bed and breakfast or something like that, like a bed and breakfast, like just put that up at the top so I know what it is. Like give me pizza first, then tell me it's Joe's Pizza. So can people know what you are talking about, or does it take you 10 freaking minutes to describe it and then they are still confused? I'm sure you've all met people at networking events, and they come in and they try to introduce themselves and they tell you what they do and they don't shut the fuck up, and then eventually you walk away confused and like you think they were speaking English, but you have absolutely no idea who they are, what they do, and you don't freaking care because they didn't do a simple job of explaining what they do or what this book is about or what your message is about. Get some clarity around this. The next rung in on the circle, on the target, is why would this group care? And there's 2 parts of why. There are problems that you address, that this is why people might care, and results that you deliver. Like when I have a problem, I want to get it solved. When I got a speeding ticket and I didn't want to pay the speeding ticket, I look online for somebody to solve my problem. And I search for key words that are around getting out of speeding tickets. And I ended up buying a book about how to get out of speeding tickets, and I ended up getting out of all my speeding tickets. For a while, I had a perfect driving record, not because I was perfect, but because I applied the principles I learned in like how to get out of a speeding ticket. Which I'll give you a short version of this: hire a lawyer. You can look online and you can find a lawyer and you give them a couple $100 and they can typically get you out of almost any speeding ticket as long as you're not drunk driving and being a jackass. And please don't take my advice on that, but go talk to an attorney. But I want you to consider 2 things. What are the core problems you solve, or the core problems your core client is facing? And what do they want? So back to the Ask campaign. If you're going to go ahead and use the Ask campaign and you find a hungry market, hungry and hot, and they love this, whatever thing you got, they're uniquely passionate about it. And then you ask them what they want: Pokemon cards or Game of Thrones t-shirts. And then guess what? You give it to them. Or you talk to them about their biggest frustrations, concerns, and challenges. This is part of a sales process that I typically use with clients to help them get clear about what is really going on for them. And I get clear about those problems, and I can use that in my marketing. This is phenomenal shit to put in your book, by the way, and I'm going to share with you where you put it. On the front cover, or if you're on the back cover. If you look at Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, it's an amazing book if you haven't read it. It's on my shelf, and I love it because I love talking about the title and the subtitle because it asks and answers these questions. So let's look at it real quick. The book title is called A 4-Hour Work Week, The 4-Hour Work Week. So my question for you is, who is this book for? Like, who would want a book about a 4-hour work week? Well, let's think about it. What does the average American work? Like, how many hours a week? If you might answer this question, the average American works, or North America works 40 hours a week. If they own their own business, they probably work more than that. There's a phrase that I heard years ago that the best thing about owning your own business is you get to work any 100 hours a week you want. You get to just pick. So this book could potentially be for anybody who has a job that works 9 to 5. This book could potentially be for anybody who runs their own business and is working more than 4 hours. Who is this for? This might also be for somebody who believes that there is a possibility, that wants to work less and have more. I kind of get it. Just in the title, I kind of know who it's for. And it sounds like it's for freaking anybody who has a job and anybody who's their boss. So that's like almost everybody on the planet, except for people who call bullshit and say, I'm not into that. I don't believe it, right? This is people that might be positive thinkers. All right, so let's go look at the rest of the subtitle. What is it about? Well, this isn't like a trick question. What is the book about? Well, it's about a 4-hour work week. It's probably got some tips in there about some 4-hour work week stuff, right? Russell Brunson wrote the book Expert Secrets. I just told you about it. What do you think that book is about? Well, I don't know, maybe some secrets that experts have, and I might want to know, right? So like that's it. And let's look at the subtitle of the 4-hour work week. The first thing it talks about on the subtitle is escape the 9 to 5. So again, who is this book for? Well, it's for people who are working a 9 to 5. Who is that? Employees. Cool. Employees who think that working the 9 to 5 is something they need to escape from. Do you think there's anybody driving around in traffic in the morning or in the evening and they wish they weren't? And they felt like their job was a prison and they need to escape? Do you want to escape from a phenomenal relationship? Do you want to escape from the best sex you've ever had? No, you want to escape from prison. That's where you want to escape from. So why does this matter? Why might this book matter to somebody? Is the escape the 9 to 5 a problem or a result? It's a problem. It's a problem that people wish they could escape from. And what is the promise or the result? A 4-hour work week. This is what this book is about. It answers the who, it answers the what, it answers the why. And if we go further into the subtitle, it says, escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere. Is that a result or a problem? Living anywhere is a result. What's the opposite of living anywhere? Having to live in Minnesota or Mississippi or Manhattan and being stuck in traffic, wherever it is that you don't want to be. And you wish, maybe this group might wish that they could live anywhere. Now, people who love their job and love traffic and love what they do and don't want to travel, this book is not for them. But those people who look at that and say, shit, this is a problem and I wish I could live anywhere, this book might be for them, for the dreamers, for the people who want to think outside the box. Live anywhere, and then the last part of the subtitle is join the new rich. Join the new rich. That's a result. This is why people might want to read this book. I don't know about you, but I heard that title and was like, there was one? Like, who is the new rich? Like, can I, like, and this actually says you can join them. What's the opposite of the new rich? The old poor, which is their problem, right? So it's who, it's what, it's why. And then the final part of this target, when you hit a bullseye, when you're figuring out your marketing message or your branding, I want you to consider what you want them to do next. If you get somebody's attention, and let's say you want to serve hungry people, what do you got? Pizza. Why might they care? Because it's hot, fresh, and fast, or something like that. Okay? Or McDonald's, they're hungry, right? So you kind of get it. We get the analogy. But what do you want them to do next? You want them to call and you want them to order. You want them to pull into your drive-thru. What do you want them to do? Now, all too often when I talk to people about their books, they say, oh, I know, I want them to buy my book. Well, I get it. Isn't that cool? They buy your book. Now what? And they're like, well, no, that's it. They have my book and then they'll have my book. And I'll be like, yeah, and then what? What do you want them to do? Well, then I want them to read it. Okay, and then what do you want them to do? I want them to like it. Okay, cool. And after they like it, what do you want them to do? I want them to learn from it. Okay, cool. And now that they learned from it, what do you want them to do? I want it to change their life and inspire them, and then they'll be better moms and better dads and better husbands. Okay, cool. And then what? Well, and then I want them to share it with people. Cool. And then what? What do you want them to do? Well, then what? Buy your next book? Oh yeah, that's it. I want to buy my next book. Cool. And then what? Like, how are you going to help them? How much value do you think they'll get out of your book? Well, they'll get a lot of value. It's going to be amazing. Okay, that's cool. They're going to get this value out of your book, out of your email, out of your Facebook Live, out of whatever it is. What do you want them to do next? How could you add the most value humanly possible with them? If they were to work with you, what could you do to add even more value beyond the book? And I share with them, I'm sharing with you, that I bought all of Tony Robbins' books. I think I bought them all. I know I've got his 2 recent books, Money Master the Game and Unshakable. And they're 2 great books. I'm very proud to have them. They're all sitting on my bookshelf right now. And you know what? I should have read them. And I feel a little embarrassed telling you that I haven't. But here's the thing. I feel good that I bought them. I haven't read them. Here's the thing. Most people won't read your book. Most people won't read your email. Most people won't watch your video. Most people who buy your course won't start it. Most people who start it won't finish. You put all this, your blood, sweat, and tears in this amazing message of your book or your email or whatever it is that you're giving them or your course. And even Tony Robbins, the best in the world, on the planet of creating amazing transformation for people. I own his damn book and I haven't read it. But how has Tony changed my life? Well, he's everywhere. He's on social media. Cool. He's given me courses. Cool. I got more value from his courses, by the way, than I did his books, because I took those courses and I took them multiple times. And then what he did is he provided events for me. And I went to these events and I invested in his master university, and I traveled around the world, not just to go to his events, but then to go volunteer at his events and then get certified. And then, or whatever I did, I just kept going back and going back and going back and getting more and then learning by teaching. So Tony Robbins decided to change my life. He had to do freaking everything from me. He had to write the book about it. He had to go ahead and teach a seminar about it. He had to invite me to the events. He had to give me an opportunity to grow as a leader so that I could go back into those environments and give back and teach all the shit that I just learned. And yet I haven't read his books. But he changed my life, and he didn't do it once. He didn't do it twice. He's done it for over a decade, and he's done it because he found better ways to serve me. And guess what? I've parted with about $250,000 worth of my money to give to him, or the cost that I've had to travel around the world to give to attend his events. And it has been the best investment I've ever made. And when I say that $250,000, that let's throw in my wife as well, because she and I we actually met volunteering at a Tony Robbins event. So I owe my relationship to Tony because I met my wife at an event. So how are you going to help people next once they get your book? Your book is the beginning. Your email is the beginning. Your Facebook Live is the beginning. Your introductory $47 course is the beginning. What's the next step? Nobody goes to the Great Pyramids of Egypt and they take pictures of the first step and the first rock and then fucking bail. Nobody goes up and like, oh yeah, look at that beautiful foundational rock, and that's it. The pyramids are phenomenal because of all the levels, the extra levels of awesomeness that go into the sky. And actually, I've never been there, so I'm just guessing. I can't wait to go. That's one of my dream places to visit. But I want you to think of the next steps. Your book is the beginning. It's a phenomenal foundation. I mean, you can't build the top of the pyramid if you don't have the bottom. And these questions, these 4 core questions, who, what, why, and what's next, are my gift to you. You know, the fact that you're following me and you're investing time and energy and you like this content and we've connected in some way, I just want to help you. I would love to help you craft a message that made a difference to people so that you and learn to clarify it and continue to clarify your message so that it makes a difference in people and changes the world. That's all I got for you today. My challenge for you is to try to apply this stuff. Ask and answer the 4 questions I gave you here, and ask and answer them not just today, not just tomorrow, but for the rest of your life. Continually consider to push the envelope in figuring out how to dig deeper to ask and answer these questions so that you can better serve people. That's all I got for you today. I know it was a little long. I think you're awesome, and that's why I gave it to you. Hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.